Here we are at the Eastern States Exposition Grounds in West Springfield, Massachusetts for the 3rd annual Food Truck Festival. We're at Gate 9 at the east end of the park. That's the entrance for the Food Truck Festival, and you can see the ticket gates there. And essentially what they did is they just had the food trucks line each side. Over here on the left is a little area to eat under the shade, and they also had a mister over there, which was nice because the 2 days the Food Truck Festival ran, it was about 100 degrees. Fortunately, there was plenty to drink, lots of lemonade stands, and lots of beer. And of course, lots of fried food. They had a King's Hawaiian truck here. I love King's Hawaiian rolls. They're so good, and they were giving them out. Didn't have to pay a thing for them. Naturally, we didn't sample everything at the festival. We would have exploded. And plus, we're vegetarian anyway, and there were lots of meat, like the smokehouse barbecue you just saw over on the right. The layout here is a sort of L shape. So you can see where we came in back there. I thought it was odd that they put this lone little Jamaican food truck out by itself over here. They had a Jamaican band at the other end of the midway, and you'd think that would be a more logical place to put it. But they seem to be doing a good business. And there's lots of desserts, in addition to just main courses. These apple fritters were unbelievable. It's funny, while I was ordering some apple fritters, there was a couple standing next to me, and they were going, "Gee, what's an apple fritter?" And the other person said, "Oh, I think it's like a donut." And I guess sort of like a donut, but filled with apples. The area we're walking through now has the largest collection of food trucks. So we'll just walk down this side, and then we'll turn around and head back. And of course, they had to have pop music playing, so I had to reverse the audio. And I've never heard of Arnold Palmer Slushies? The golf guy was making slushies? I don't get it. And they had cotton candy there too. Interesting combination. This event also featured a small craft fair that was in the Better Living Center, and we'll take a look at that toward the end of the video. You can see the sign for Angry Orchard there. They were one of the sponsors of the event. How can you resist a vendor that advertises itself as having crunchy balls of goodness? This over here is the same poutine truck that's at the Big E when it normally runs in the fall. Lemonade Grenade. And you can hear that music. There's the Jamaican band I was talking about on the stage, far in the distance there. And that brings us to the end of the row, where the food trucks are on the left side. So now we'll swing over onto the right side. I was surprised at how spread out everything was. You can see a sort of play area for kids way off in the distance there with these inflatable slides and bounce houses. I don't know why they weren't moved a little closer. And there's also a rock climbing wall there. So now we'll head back in the opposite direction. This truck was phenomenal. Chick Chack with Mediterranean cuisine. They had incredible falafels and the best pita bread I've ever had. Majestic Theater is a really popular theater in West Springfield. And every year they raffle off an antique car. And they have a little booth set up. Can't eat it, but I guess you could drive it to the food truck festival. I didn't try these cupcakes. I thought it was a little ominous that their logo was a skull and crossbones. Open season was aimed at the sportsmen. It had venison and stuff you just go out and kill. And you can see the entrance over there to the Better Living Center. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yet another lemonade stand. I think they had 5 lemonade stands. And what food truck fest would be complete without fried dough? Here's the locally famous Julio Hummus Company, and they have Mediterranean food like Chick Chack. Equally good. Here's all sorts of stuff on Waffles. I was surprised that they actually had very few places for people to sit. I guess they want people to just eat while they're walking, but you'd think they'd have more places, especially in the heat like it was at the event, for people to just relax and eat sitting down. They did have plenty of trash containers, though. So over there is BT's Smokehouse Barbecue that we saw on the way in. So now we're at that sort of L, the 90-degree turn. So from here, we'll stay on the right side and walk down the L and then come back. Yep, you've made it into an obscure video. We'll come back and then duck into the craft fair. You can see the Big E's giant slide sitting in the background, all freshly painted. The Nam Nam Hut is well known in the area. It's had a lot of fairs. They have Japanese food, sushi, and stuff like that. Macarolin is a clever name. It's basically anything with macaroni and cheese. The Shuckin truck featured all sorts of seafood, including lobster rolls. Now this place, Bona Bona, was making handmade ice cream, and look what she was doing there. She's using a blowtorch to heat up liquid marshmallow that they would put on top of the ice cream. It was really good. I'm not sure I would exactly call that a village in there, but you'll see in a minute. I'm not quite sure what this truck was doing here. It wasn't a food truck, it was for pet supplies, and it wasn't like pet food, which I could see, it was just pet stuff. And that pretty much wraps up the food truck area. So let's take a walk into the Better Living Center and look at the few crafts that are there. You have to live with it. During the Big E, the big fall fair that runs every year, the Better Living Center is packed with all sorts of vendors selling everything from siding to windmills to bungee cords. And as you can see, it's a massive building, and there really wasn't much there. I'm not sure what the horse trailer was for. And it seemed like it was sort of a mini version of the Better Living Center at the Big E. It just had similar stuff, just not a lot of it. No thanks, no windows today.
Trade that in, good day.
And so that wraps up the third annual Food Truck Fest at the Big E. It's worth a trip. There's lots of good stuff here. And I assume as the years go on, it'll keep growing with more and more vendors. Hopefully next year, it won't be 100 degrees.